Welcome back to Facts with your host, Caroline.
And Jazz.
The F1 season is starting. I don't really know what. Am I excited? Not really. The shakedown has been taking place this week. And for those who
Mm-hmm.
don't know, the shakedown is basically, well, actually, I don't know why I'm saying for those who don't know. I'm going to assume anybody listening to this episode or watching it on YouTube at FactsPC, also TikTok and Instagram at FactsPC. But this
Yes.
will be our yearly intro to F1, where we
Mm-hmm.
just kind of go through the basics for new fans or for people who maybe joined a little late last year and want to get the tea. But
Yeah.
the shakedown is taking place this week. It takes place in Barcelona, and it's basically the first time in the season that the cars go on track and all the teams are
Yeah.
there except for Williams this year, which I'll get into why that's
Oh, yes.
funny. And yeah, it's fun. You get to see all the cars. Isaac Hadjar sadly didn't do so well. And
Yeah. He's a little
yeah,
spin.
but let's get into the basics. The very basics is Formula One is a motorsport. Um, it is a single seater motorsport, which means that there's one seat in the car. There's
One
only room for
driver.
one person.
Mm-hmm.
And they go fast as fuck. Like that's the that's like the very kind of basic answer to say here, but obviously we'll get into it. So this year we have 11 teams,
Mm-hmm.
and teams are built kind of similarly. You have two drivers, one
Yeah.
reserve driver. You usually with that have, maybe a sim tester, which could also be the reserve driver. You might have two reserve drivers. That varies from team to team. And within these team, you have the strategist, you have the pit crew, you have the team principals, you have kind of everybody you need, right, to get this to work. And the way a team works, because you might be thinking, oh, but why is there a world championship? Like there's two. You might have heard that there is one driver who wins, and
Mm-hmm.
you might not have heard that there's a team that wins, or you might have heard, vice versa. But there are two championships. There is a drivers championship and there is a constructors championship. Now, the constructors championship, that's for the team. So
Yeah.
that is where you take both the drivers on the team, you take both of their points, add them together. That is the team points. And then there is the drivers world championship, which is the individual drivers and their points.
Mm-hmm.
So, which sounds kind of messy, and that's because it is. Like, you can easily have a team where they win the constructors, but they don't win the drivers' championship, and vice versa.
Yeah.
Um, and that kind of goes to show, do you have one great driver or do you have two great drivers? Because the goal for every team would be to have the number one and the number two driver, right? Like
Yeah.
that's what you want. That means you're the best. And McLaren did take both those victories last year.
Mm-hmm.
S- so yeah, there's that. Um,
But also within championships, it's sometimes it can also get surprising with
yeah,
construction championships because there's so many times when a team it's not even on the podium like ever throughout the whole season, but they take second or third place because they just constantly up in the top numbers.
yeah,
So that can also change a lot. And like there's so many times I remember when you start getting into first to F1, you were like surprised how many people is in a team. Like
yeah,
there's
because there's a lot of
so
fucking people
many.
in the team.
Yeah,
Just the pit stop by itself, that's like six people.
exactly.
And then you have
Exactly.
strategy, and then you have social media, and you have like there's a
It's
lot.
a whole circus.
And you might be thinking now, okay, they get points, but how do they get those points? Well, they
Mm-hmm.
get those points by racing, period. Like first and foremost, they get them by racing. There are two types of races. We have the normal, well, I mean, there's multiple different types of races. There's two main types of races. You have the race, which
Mm-hmm.
usually takes place on a Sunday. And then you
Yeah.
have a sprint race. A sprint race will usually take place on a Saturday. And I believe there's about five of them throughout the year. And a sprint race is about half the length of a normal race.
Yeah.
And the points are set up a little differently. So for a normal race, the points is set up that the first 10 finishers, they get points, with the number 1 getting 25 points, number 2 getting 18. 18? That feels wrong. Is it 18? That feels wrong. F1 driver points, races. How do you even Google that? Right. 25, 18, 15, fourth. So that's the podium.
Mm-hmm.
P1, P2, P3. And the positions in F1 is also usually said by saying P and then the number, P standing for position. So you got P1, P2, P3. That's the podium. You got 25, 18, and 15 points. And then it moves down, going 12, 10, 8, 6, 4, 2. And then the 10th finisher only getting 1. Now, back in the day, the driver with the fastest lap would also get a
Mm-hmm.
point, which means you could
Yeah.
finish outside the top 10 and still get a point.
Yeah.
They don't do that anymore. God knows why. Probably political reasons.
It was so stupid.
Yeah, it's not whatever. And then with the sprint race, it's the top 8 finishers who get points, and that basically just goes 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So
Yeah.
a lot of people, including us, think sprint races are fucking ridiculous because what are we doing? Why are we competing for 8 points? Like
It never
and
it never makes sense within
no.
the F1 community as well. There's so many people who
No.
it makes no sense. F1 is trying to focus more on being environmentally friendly and whatever, and then they add extra races, extra rubber, extra
Yeah.
sprint race that makes usually no difference. However, last season was actually
I
quite
feel
made
like
a
a sprint
difference.
race should only be in like the last 4 races, because that's where, if there is an actual championship fight, that's where the sprint races can make a difference. But other than that,
Mm.
I find them to be honestly kind of ridiculous. Also
I
because there's a
gonna be
whole
honest with you, I never
internal.
watched them. I never watched them. I
I
just
watch them
think it's
sometimes.
boring. I think it's just I don't know.
There's also a great internal, and by internal I mean within the F1 community, debate surrounding whether or not sprint races count as real races. We talked about this in our last episode where we go more into depth about each team and their drivers, again at Facts PC.
Period.
But basically, a lot of people feel like if you win a sprint race, that doesn't really count towards a win.
Mm.
Even though, I mean, it does technically, but does it? Like, that's greatly debated, and kind of the consensus here is that if it's your driver who wins, then it counts, and if it's not your driver who wins, then it doesn't count. Oscar
That
Piastri, for
I'm saying fine.
example, won a sprint race before Lando Norris had won any kind of race. So that's debated whether that and I don't really Lewis won a sprint race with Ferrari last year. Yeah. But there are 11 teams this year in Formula One. There has been 10 teams for a long time. For many, many years it was 10 teams.
Yeah.
But Cadillac is joining. Another American team.
We'll see how they're gonna go.
Yeah.
And
And
never
listen,
know.
our podcasts, our YouTube videos only get like 10 views, and our episodes on Spotify don't get that many views. But I don't really care. I will just say here and now, first of all, free Palestine, and second of all, fuck Donald Trump and fuck ICE. I don't understand what. There's also so many races in America, which that's a whole other discussion. But there's 11 teams now. We have
Yeah.
McLaren, we got Mercedes, we got Ferrari, we have Williams, we have Haas, we have Audi. Audi's taken over a team called Stake.
Mm-hmm.
We have Cadillac, we have Aston Martin.
Alpine.
I'm missing 3 teams. Alpine,
VCarb,
and Red Bull.
Yeah.
And some of those names might seem familiar to you. Some of them may not. Ferrari, McLaren, and Mercedes and Williams are considered as kind of heritage teams. They've been
Yeah.
part of Formula One for a while. Mercedes actually technically hasn't been a part of Formula One for a long time, but that's also a whole situation.
When did they join? Wasn't it like 2010, 2009, something like that?
Was it
I
then? Because
actually
I
don't know.
like
No, they joined once and then they
so Mercedes was a part of the original Formula One back in the 1950s, I believe 1954 to be more precise. However, there
mhm,
was a horrendous accident
yeah.
involving a Mercedes car and some um, fans getting kind of decapitated. Awful,
Yeah.
awful.
Yeah.
But they then decided not to join or not to continue being in Formula One. They then joined back in 2010.
Mhm.
2010 is when they
Yeah.
joined. And
Wow, that's like 16 years ago.
yeah.
That's depressing.
So there's those are kind of heritage teams. And then you have what I call the car teams. So again, Aston Martin is a car.
Mhm.
McLaren is a car. Ferrari, Mercedes is a car. Audi joins that. So does Cadillac. They are cars.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then you have like Red Bull. That's a drink. But Red Bull does a lot of kind of extreme sports, so it makes sense that they used to be quite good. Um, they used to be quite good. And then we have Haas, which have also been a part of Formula One for, I believe, like 8 years now at this point.
Yeah, quite
And
some time.
Williams, I believe they build like tractors and stuff as well. So, they all kind of have most of the teams have some sort of root in mechanics or something.
Mhm.
Yeah. Now back to how the teams work. So each team builds their own car.
Yeah.
So the cars are vastly different. They try their very best to make sure that other teams don't see each other's car before time. Now there are regulations. The
A lot
FIA,
of
which
them.
is the Fédération Internationale Automobile, it's French, so I will not be trying to pronounce it that way. Most people don't really fuck with the FIA, us included. Um, but that's neither here nor there. But they do have some regulations which state, for example, how much the car can weigh. And the car weight is the driver weight is included in the car weight. So
Also all the gears, everything, helmet,
everything is
everything.
included. Everything is included in the car weight. So there's also regulations on how wide it can be, how big the front wings can be, the back wings. If you want to learn more about the more technical side and about these like rear wings, front wings, back wings, check out our website. Hashtag link in bio. I'm really out here today. I'm really doing the work.
I'm like, I feel like I'm just watching a
I
video.
am doing the work. And I forgot where I was at, but yeah, no, we don't like the
The
FIA.
FIA. Yeah.
Yeah, fuck them. Uh, no, like genuinely, the FIA. So the FIA, that's kind of like the principle. They decide. So during a race, you can be given penalties. Penalties can be given for
Yes.
kind of anything. Are you speeding in the pit lane? The pit lane is where all the pit stops are, which means that there are people there who are not drivers, who are not in a car. So there are very specific rules to keep everybody safe. If you are speeding in the pit lane, that can be 5 seconds, it can be 10 seconds. If you crash into somebody else, that could be 5 seconds, that could be 10 seconds, that could be a grid spot, that can be whatever. And penalties show in different ways. So there are the seconds, which is usually either 5 or 10 seconds added to your time, which can literally be the difference in being P1 and being P10. Um,
Exactly, because we always have to think of as well, in this sport, milliseconds are counted.
Milliseconds.
Like 10
Very
second
rarely.
penalty is literally the end of your race,
I
basically.
think it's happened once in my time watching Formula One that we've had what's
Mm,
called a photo finish, which is where the cars are literally so close to each other that they have to look at the cameras and see, okay, who technically crossed, at the
yeah,
first.
yeah.
There's also penalties in forms of losing a grid spot. So after
Mm-hmm.
qualifying, you will qualify. We haven't even talked about qualifying. Let me get into that in a minute. But that could be basically if you qualify P5 and you have a one grid penalty, you are now P6. And the
Yeah.
grid penalties can be anything from 1 to 5. Like it can be kind of anything.
Yeah.
And you can serve the penalties. Obviously, the grid penalties have to be served at the race. But the seconds you can either do during the race, meaning during a pit stop, you stay for an extra 10 seconds, or you can serve them after the race is finished, meaning it just gets added to your time. And that's a strategy thing, right? Like, do you think you can make up the time?
Yeah.
Most try to make up the time during the race, which is obviously a smart thing to do, in my opinion. Now we
The
have
funniest
qualifying.
part about the
Sorry.
FIA though is that so many times they also add penalties after the race is finished,
Yeah.
where the
And
driver
that's some
cannot do
bullshit.
anything at all.
And that is some bullshit. So
Exactly.
they will sometimes, you'll get like a little notification that says that an incident has been noted. And
Mm-hmm.
it'll say at the very top, there'll be like a little blue bar that says
Mm-hmm.
incident noted between whatever driver is being noted. And you're just
Yeah.
waiting. You're just waiting. The rest of the race, you're just waiting. And then they decide to give the penalty afterwards, which sucks. Um, yeah.
Yeah.
Qualifying, as a Ferrari fan, I don't have any good memories of a qualifying. Qualifying
Never.
takes place Saturday. On a normal race week where there is no sprint race, the qualifying takes place on a Friday. No, on a Saturday. If there is a sprint race, the qualifying also takes place on a Saturday. No, the qualifying takes place on a Friday, and then the sprint
Friday.
qualifying takes place on Saturday. See, it's a little
Yeah.
confusing, y'all. But qualifying is set up in 3 sections. So, and they're called Q1, Q2, and Q3. Very
Mm-hmm.
original. So for Q1, all the drivers are out. All
Yeah.
22 of them are out trying to get the fastest lap.
Yes.
And then, I mean, to be honest, I haven't really looked into it, but I usually then after Q1 is over, 5 drivers get eliminated.
The slowest ones.
The slowest ones get eliminated. Q2, it's the next 5. And then Q1, it's usually the top 10 who are left. But I guess maybe they'll be doing 6 and 6 and then 10 this year. Who knows? But
Yeah,
but
actually.
basically your lap time, so how fast the car goes around the track, decides what position you're in.
Yeah.
And for some tracks, the position can be very, very, very important. So, for example, the Monaco Grand Prix is not a very wide race. So, therefore, it's very hard to overtake. There are very few spots that you can overtake. So, therefore, it's very important here that you get P1 or P2, where you have some races where it's very easy to overtake. So, even if you start P4, you're able to make it onto the podium.
Yeah.
And
However,
if
that's
you're
also gonna be a little bit different this year because the cars have so many changes compared to last year.
the cars are smaller
So
now. The cars are
exactly. So I
smaller.
think that's gonna be more exciting takeovers.
Hopefully.
Never know.
Overtakes. Overtakes.
Overtakes. What did I say?
Takeovers.
Oh,
Same
you get
same.
what I mean.
Same shit, different toilet. So that's qualifying. Qualifying
Mm,
can be very interested and can also be very boring.
yeah.
And you might now be thinking, like, if you qualify P19, why even
Mm-hmm.
try? Let me just tell you, it is possible to win starting from P19.
Mm-hmm.
This has happened before. So if you're getting into F1 and maybe you picked your team based off the vibes, which is exactly what you should pick your team based off the vibes. And if you pick the team because you think the drivers are hot, that's fine. We don't give a fuck.
You can pick whoever you want to
Pick
support. You
whoever you
can
want.
pick whatever reason you want to support
And
them.
you
But
could
good
even
for you. Just
have
go
a
off.
favorite driver that isn't on your favorite team. Like
Yeah,
really, there are no
exactly.
rules, despite what especially men are gonna, especially if you're a woman,
Mm,
despite what they try to tell you, there are no rules in who you support, how much you support, what you want to do to support. Do whatever the fuck you want to do. Support whoever the fuck you want to support, but stand by it, first of all. Okay, just
Period.
because your team's, because
Period.
listen, we are Ferrari fans. The team fucking sucks.
Unfortunately.
All right,
Yeah.
I can't even like, but we stand by the fact that it sucks. Like
Yeah,
it
and
is
be
what it
fully
is.
aware of it. And also
And
like
if you,
just
you know what, the only wrong way to pick a team is if you pick a team because they won. Then you suck.
mm,
Then you suck.
yeah, because also like every season is different.
Every
We
season
had
is
a whole
different.
Max Verstappen era
Yeah.
before with Red Bull. Now it's
And before
now
that,
last season they
and
were not
before that, it
good.
was Mercedes and Lewis Hamilton. Like,
Exactly.
pick
So you never
whoever,
know.
do whatever, just don't pick them because they won. That should not be your reason. But,
No.
and if you pick a team and you're like, I don't even know why, that's the right team for you. If you don't know
Unfortunately,
why,
usually
it's
the
because it was
team
called to
picks
you.
you
Yeah.
like in a vibe way. It's the
The
same as
vibes are
like who
there.
was your favorite One Direction boy? Like you just
Yeah.
can't you just it's just how it is. It's just decided for you. And
Do you want
unfortunately
to
sometimes
answer?
it's depressing. Who's my
Do you want to answer?
favorite One
Yeah.
Direction boy? Oh, let me give you my ranking because
The way,
it
no, no,
was
you
always
don't even
Harry.
understand. The way your eyes just looked like it was the hat. Like,
This
I'm
is a
so excited.
different this is a whole other 20-minute conversation, okay? My favorite was always Harry
Mm,
and Niall on like the same
mm,
level. And
period.
then Louis, because he was fucking funny as hell and so out of pocket. And then Liam and Zayn were kind of like on the same level. However, I always had a beef with Zayn because he left the band. But now that I'm older, I grew into the whole why he left the band. So it was good for his mental health and
As
whatever. And it was
someone,
toxic.
as someone who
But
wasn't a Directioner, but obviously knows what One Direction is, I'm gonna say Niall and Zayn go up here,
mm,
and
mm-hmm.
then we got Harry and Louis, and then I'm so sorry. I'm
Larry,
so
you
sorry,
mean?
and R.I.P. But Liam,
Yes. Legend Liam, R.I.P.
R.I.P. in peace. Back to
Also,
F1 though. You know,
yeah, I don't want.
Louis loves F1. By the way, he goes there a lot.
He was invited, I think, last time as well by Ferrari. I
Yeah.
think, yeah.
Period.
And him and Charles were taking pictures, and I was like, "This is the best day of my life." Like two of my favorite things collided, and that's another thing that needs to be studied: the how One Directioners and also like other band lovers
I
turning
think in
into F1
general,
lovers.
I think in general, I mean, that's again a whole other conversation, but I think there's
Yeah.
something just about fangirl behavior. And I think if you have a tendency to fangirl,
Mm,
Formula One is very easy to fangirl over because it's like
mm-hmm.
when they're, because the thing is, I think so
It has the
fangirls
basics.
usually,
It has the
but
basics.
also
You can pick your favorite team.
fangirls like to watch the stuff outside of the sport, right? So they like to watch the
Mm-hmm.
interviews the drivers are doing. And they're
Yeah.
very funny, like nice people. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
Alex Albon, despite our personal beef, is kind of funny.
Yes.
Like Charles is
Also,
also
congratulations here from
hilarious.
Alex.
Good for
You
you.
guys, good
You
for
bagged a
you.
baddie, bitch. You
Congratulations.
bagged a baddie.
Mm. Mm-hmm.
The funniest thing
Yeah.
about like F1 drivers is everybody talks about how hot they are, but compared to their girlfriends, they're like a five.
Oh, the girlfriends are beautiful, beautiful.
Like
All of them.
Alexandra is the only person on earth that can make Charles Leclerc look average. Like
That is so true.
they
That
walk
is
up
so
next to each
true.
other and you're like, who is this homeless man escorting this wonderful,
In
beautiful
his
piece of art?
ugly pants and ugly
And then
jeans.
it's her fucking boyfriend, and you're like, damn, okay. But good for them. Good for them.
Yeah, good for them. Very happy for them. Anyway.
Whatever. Anyways, back to topic.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so that's kind of what a way to end and just like, but yeah. But yeah.
Yeah.
Also take a drink every time we say because we say that a lot. See, there we go again.
Mm-hmm.
It's a
Mm-hmm.
lot with the filler words. I was just about to say, but again. F1 is not that scary to join,
No.
especially there's a great community of girls who like F1, the girls, the gays,
Mm-hmm.
and the days. The men I'm not going to talk too much shit about male fans because listen, we
Mm,
only obviously hear about the bad ones, right? We don't hear about
yeah.
the normal average male F1 fan who
Mm-hmm.
just sits at home and watches the sport and enjoys it in a very normal way.
Yeah.
However, if you are a female fan and you ever dare to post the fact that you are a woman that likes Formula One, you
Mm-hmm.
will have men telling you all sorts of shit, right? All sorts of shit. The only good thing though is they can't this they speaking English. There used to be this thing where if you said that you liked F1, men would go, "Oh, explain what DRS is." They can't do that anymore because DRS has been removed. So we're
Period.
free. We're free.
We're free.
No more explain what DRS is. And in case anybody was wondering, DRS is the drag reduction system. All right.
Mm,
It's the drag reduction system. And it makes the fuckers go quicker.
yeah.
There we go.
But
Literally
F1
suck
is
my dick.
fun.
Sorry.
Period, by the way. But F1 is fun to get into. You can also, if you like the little bit dramatic side of it, you can also watch the Drive to Survive on Netflix. That's a
Oh
little bit
yeah.
of like a sneak
You'll
peek
also
getting into
hear,
it.
and this isn't just specific to male fans, this is actually equally bad, both male and female fans, who will
Hmm.
talk shit about people who got into Formula One because of Drive to Survive. And
Because
to
they're
that,
not
I
real
say,
fans. What
yeah.
the
And to
fuck does
that,
real fan
just as
mean
I
even?
said about 10 seconds ago, suck my dick. There is no way to be the wrong kind of fan. Unless you're a stalker. That's wrong.
There's no, oh, yeah, that's
But
true.
in
But there's
general,
no
if
like
you got into
guideline.
F1 because your friend showed you a Charles Leclerc edit, if you got into F1 because you saw a funny screenshot of a uh, of a team radio,
Mm-hmm.
you got into
Mm-hmm.
F1 because you liked one of the wags. If you got into F1 because you saw a funny meme, if you got into F1 because you watched Drive to Survive, if you got into F1 because your dad loves Michael Schumacher, there is no wrong way to get into F1.
No. You
There
just
is
need to
no
find
wrong
the right
way.
community.
Find the right community. There's a bunch of great people on there, on
Follow
X, on
us.
TikTok.
We
Follow
we have
us
a
at
great
FXTC.
community.
It's just really, and like once you get into it, it becomes like a beautiful, little,
Obsession.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I've had some great conversations with people. I mean, I follow some girly pops I met in Barcelona at the Williams fan site, and we
Mm-hmm.
still comment, happy birthday on, like, it's very,
Yeah, it
so
is.
if
It
you,
is.
yeah, so get into F1 or don't get into F1, do what you want to do,
Period.
but don't ever let another person make you feel bad for how you enjoy F1 or what you do to enjoy F1 or what you did to get into F1.
Mm-hmm.
If you got into F1
That's
because you saw Louis Tomlinson at the Ferrari garage, go girl. Wrong
exactly.
team. I mean, I wish better for you, but like, go girl.
From
You know,
personal
if you
experiences,
no,
yeah.
but for real, if you got into F1 because you saw, one of your favorite celebrities in the garage, go
Mm-hmm.
off. Period.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
why they're there. That's literally why they're there.
Exactly. Exactly.
Well,
We're welcoming you in this community and we're happy if you want to join us. It's a
yes.
wonderful little journey and a lot of headaches and a lot
Yeah.
of mental breakdowns once in a while. But at the end of the day,
The day ends.
it's lovely.
Oh.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love that.
All right, y'all. Like and subscribe and follow.
And have a lovely day and touch
And
some
have a
grass.
lovely day. Bye bye.
Bye bye.